G'day you mob, Pete here, and this is another episode of Aussie English, the number one place for anyone and everyone wanting to learn Australian English. So today I have a Goss episode for you where I sit down with my old man, my father, Ian Smisson, and we talk about the week's news, whether locally down under here in Australia or non-locally overseas in other parts of the world. Okay, and we sometimes also talk about whatever comes to mind, right? If we can think of something interesting to share with you guys related to us or Australia, we also talk about that in the Goss. So these episodes are specifically designed to try and give you content about many different topics where we're obviously speaking in English and there are multiple people having a natural and spontaneous conversation in English. So it is particularly good to improve your listening skills. In order to complement that though, I really recommend that you join the podcast membership or the academy membership at aussieenglish.com.au, where you will get access to the full transcripts of these episodes, the PDFs, the downloads, and you can also use the online PDF reader to read and listen at the same time. Okay, so if you really want to improve your listening skills fast, get the transcript, listen and read at the same time, keep practicing, and that is the quickest way to level up your English. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on a bit. I've been talking a bit. Let's just get into this episode, guys. Smack the bird, and let's get into it. All right. Welcome back, Dad. It's been a while.
Hey, Pete, it has been a while. In fact, I think this might be the first one for the year.
Oh, easy. It's only been a month and a half. Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
This year's a leap year, isn't it?
It is.
Look out.
I know.
You got friends with leap year birthdays?
No.
There's one or two people I know of, but I don't know who it is. Like, I know that I know them, but I can't remember who it is specifically, but I definitely have friends who are like, I'm only 5.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you sort of remember, but you don't remember who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
my sister died 4 years ago on February the 29th.
okay, so it's only the first anniversary.
It'll be the first, well, it's not the first anniversary, it's the first quadriversary.
Yeah.
Quadranniversary. Yeah, as her husband said, only Jackie could die on February the 29th.
Well, I'm sure there would have been a few
I'm
others.
sure there were a few others. But
so you recently went on a trip to Mallacoota. Did you want to chat about that in
Yeah.
this episode? Because that just seemed like it was a lot of fun, and then there was a bit of an interesting incident at the towards the end of it that I guess all Victorians kind of experienced. But
most
guys,
did. Yeah.
Yeah, so well, I guess the update is that you bought this van. We did an episode on it a while back on the van that you had imported from Japan, or it was getting imported and you bought it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was. There are a couple of importers that bring in vehicles from Japan that are not normally sold in Australia, and this one was on the books to be imported. Yeah. But when I found it, it still hadn't hit the ship.
So it's kind of like pre-sailing.
I basically bought it before it arrived in Australia.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they just list it with all the photos and info and the price, you pay for it, and then... Is it only after you pay that they're then like, okay, now we'll bring it in?
No, they're bringing it anyway because mostly they're selling from Australia.
Yeah.
But I just saw the ad for this one and went, it's pretty much what I've been looking for. And it was in really good condition. So. And
it's what brand is it again?
It's a Mitsubishi Delica.
Right. Yeah, so it's these Mitsubishi vans, but they're like raised suspension.
Yeah, and they're 4-wheel drive.
They're pretty cool little things. But I guess the news is that you finally got it all kitted out and finished off, right?
Pretty much, There's always a few little bits still to go, but you're never finished with a modification on a vehicle. But...
Do you want to mention what it was that you modified about the vehicle and why, briefly, and then maybe the things that are waiting for you to finish?
Well, it came with... raised suspension and off-road tyres, which I was going to put on and do anyway. So that was one of the reasons I like this one, because that's a couple of $1,000 or more dollars to do.
And it's already in the model.
It was already in it.
Yeah.
But I put a spare wheel carrier on, took the spare wheel out, which gives me... firstly, the spare wheel carrier also has a space to put a jerry can, so you can either carry extra fuel or water.
So you want to explain what that is? The carrier is the metal thing at the back of the car that holds it on the outside.
just a metal frame that holds the jerry can on the outside and the spare wheel. It also moves the spare wheel out from under the vehicle, which means that you've got a bit more clearance
for when you're doing forward
driving. But also it means that if you get into trouble and you need to change a tyre, and you're in sandy or muddy or whatever, you don't have to be scrambling under the car
digging it out
to get the spare tyre out. So.
Do you want to explain what a jerry can is? People may be like, why is the can called Jerry?
Yeah, well, I don't know
Jerry
why,
and
I don't know why it's
got
called
a
Jerry
can
Can,
named
and why has
after
he got a can named after? I don't know, but it's a 22 litre, in this case, plastic. You can get 20 litre steel ones as well, but I prefer plastic because they're lighter, and of course we live by the beach, so it doesn't matter how well painted or covered or whatever steel things are, they are going to rust. So,
and is this for water or fuel?
I mostly carry water. I put one of the other modifications I did was put a larger fuel tank on, so it carries an extra 50 litres of fuel.
So how far can you get on it?
About 800 kilometres.
Okay, awesome.
Which is pretty good. And then a bull bar at the front just to protect it if you're driving, particularly on country roads. Not that you run into many bulls, but
kangaroos will give you a run for your money.
But also just if you're off road, it just protects the front of the vehicle if you get banged into rocks and stuff like that. Not that I'm intending to take it terribly off road.
Is it the Crack? That movie CRAIC that had the truck driver in it. It was like she said something like, "Oh, hit a cow once, fucking thing exploded."
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, and she had this huge truck with a massive bull bar on the front of it. And he's like, I think it was like that sort of idea of, why do you need that? And she's like, you want to know?
Yes.
I'm not slowing down. I'm just driving along at night time.
Well, the thing is, particularly with big trucks, semi-trailers or road trains.
The engine's right there, right?
Right up the front, and you can't slow down in a hurry.
It's too much mass.
Walks out in front of you at night, and a lot of truckies drive at night because it's the roads are less busy. So
with less people on the road, but more animals.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, particularly around dawn and dusk. So then I did some internal modifications. The vehicle comes with 3 rows of seats. I took the middle row and the back row out.
It's like a minibus,
Yeah, it's basically a 7-seater van. Took the middle and rear rows of seats out and put a drawer system in with a fridge in it, drawer fridge, and a big drawer for all the kitchen items, and then built a bed on top of that and in front of it. So it'll sleep 2 people comfortably, but of course getting out of the vehicle, if you're the person lying away from the door, then you've got to scramble over the other person to get out.
Who's worse off, the person who gets woken up or the one who has to crawl over the other one?
Yeah, well, you're both going to get woken up no matter who wants to get out. So
the rule is don't drink anything before you go to bed.
Well, when you get to my age, you've got to get up at least once during the night anyway. So
I'm pretty much in that boat already. I think it's just I drink too much water anyway.
Caffeine as well.
Well, there's that,
Help.
So that was pretty much everything you had done to the van.
Yeah.
And then this was the first sort of test run, wasn't
it?
Well,
I'd had a sort of brief 3-day camping trip by myself down to Wilson's Prom, which is sort of camping light, I call it, because it's a lot of
amenities.
It's a very well established camping ground, but they have a big shop there that is not just has takeaway food as well as frozen food and a whole little sort of camping hardware type store. So if anything goes wrong, you can sort of find most things to fix your camping stuff anyway.
It's kind of like a tiny town where it's BYO tent, right?
Yeah, well, it's a tiny town of one shop, but that shop is large enough to have enough in there to keep you going.
Yeah. Wilson's Prom's awesome if you guys want to go camping.
Yeah, it's my favourite place in Australia. It really is.
Didn't Squeaky Beach win this year's Australian Beach of the Year?
Yeah, most beautiful beach in Australia.
Squeaky Beach is a beach at Wilson's Prom, Wilson's Promontory, which is the southernmost point of the mainland of Australia?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
In Victoria here, and it's called Squeaky Beach because
the sand squeaks when you walk on it for some bizarre reason. And I've studied geology, but I cannot work out why that beach has and it squeaks because the sand is round quartz grains,
and they're all about the same size.
They're all about the same. Well, the beach will be sorted according to size, just with the wave action and wind action.
Yeah, true.
And so when you walk on it, the little round balls, if you like, just roll across each other and squeak.
Whereas friction, right?
Whereas every other beach is what we typically see in southern Australia is calcareous.
Lots of shells,
smashed up shells. Squeaky Beach is white because of the quartz. All the other beaches are sort of that pale yellowy colour. And I have no idea why Squeaky Beach has that, and none of the other beaches do, but it does. And,
you wonder if it's a geological thing, or if it's more perhaps the well, I guess it could be geographical, right? Well, like how the beach is set up and the way in which the rocks are eroding via a river or whatever there, and they're not getting washed out to sea. The sand isn't getting washed out to sea. Instead, it's piling up on the beach.
Yeah.
Whereas other beaches along there, perhaps it's whatever quartz is getting washed away and the calcareous stuff is building up.
There's all sorts of hypotheses, but I have yet to see a sensible explanation for why it's only that beach on the peninsula.
It's weird because I remember going there the first time, well, probably not the first time, but going there as a kid because we used to always go down to Wilson's Prom and camp and just, walking out into the beach and just getting that.
Yeah, exactly.
With every single step you take, it just goes.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it's got really nice big granite rocks, right? That you can or quartz granite rocks that you can climb up on, jump into the water. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Anyway, so you'd already gone there.
So I went down there to just do a very light shakedown just to make sure that I had all the bits and pieces worked out. There's still a few things to do, but mostly they're just, like I've taken the centre console out of the front of the vehicle between the little sort of plastic thing that, opens up and contains a cigarette ashtray, which is completely useless these days, and certainly useless to me. It's very small, and I wanted to make a bigger one, so I've pulled that out, but haven't built the new one yet because I'm still trying to test out what I want to store in it and how easily to get to it and how many sort of compartments and doors and bits and pieces. So, or whether to just make it one big bin with a lid on it. Still got to work a few of those things out. But then the big test was to see if your mum and I could both travel in it and sleep in it comfortably. So I've got a little, camping pop-up tent, little 2-person tent,
like a swag, jumbo swag.
Yeah, well, it's much lighter and smaller and folds up than a swag, and an air mattress that is, again, very small. And I slept in that for the first couple of nights, but then thought, all right, last night when we're there, we'll both sleep in it and see how we go. And I thought it'd work okay. Your mother was a lot less confident, but she said,
"I'm out."
She said, "No, that was good."
Oh, really?
It worked.
Oh, okay. I was expecting you to say she tapped out.
She slept in it for the first few nights by herself, with me outside, and then a couple of nights we went to Eden as well in southern New South Wales. And the reason for the trip, apart from shaking down the vehicle, was I wanted to go on a pelagic birding trip. Pelagic as in on the sea. So a boat trip out to look at seabirds.
As opposed to benthic.
Yeah, where you don't see too many birds on the bottom of the sea. Yeah. And that was cancelled because of the weather, and that was going to go out of Eden. And because I was going to be out all day on that, I thought, well, rather than me having to wake Joe up at 4 a.m. to get out of the vehicle and stuff, we'd stay in a motel there. So we stayed a couple of nights in a motel.
Yeah.
But that got cancelled, so we had a good time a couple of days in Eden and then turned around and came home.
What makes Mallacoota so special?
Well, it's isolated because it sits in a national park right on the far eastern corner of Victoria, right on the coast.
It's like the tip of the pizza slice that is the Victorian shape of the state.
Exactly. And if you're standing on and it's got a big inlet as well. So it's, 2 rivers run together just further up a little bit inland from the coast. And there's this huge shallow water inlet, which is, A, it's pretty, and B, it's got lots of birds and
dolphins, all sorts of stuff,
dolphins and all sorts of things around there. So that's always good to see. And from there, you can actually see, well, technically you can't see into New South Wales because the line of the border sort of runs almost down the ridge of a mountain range. So if you get to the top of the mountains and go over the other side, you're in New South Wales. So
it's weird, isn't it? Because that top part of the Victorian border is like a weird squiggly line that traces the Murray River.
The Murray River, yeah.
And then once it gets to what's it called again, where the river starts in the mountains? What's the word for that?
I don't know. well, at least the source anyway.
Yeah, the source of the river.
Yeah.
It's then just like this dead straight line
Yeah, it's that
all
they
the way
just-
to the ocean.
They basically take a line to a point on the coast,
Boom.
which is the predetermined spot, and I have no idea. And
Yeah, no, I
I'm
have to
ashamed to
look
say
into
my geographical history. I
guys
probably
carve
learned
this
it
up?
one day, deciding where they thought the point on the coast was that New South Wales became Victoria. But then they just drew a straight line between that point and the source of the Murray River. So,
Yeah, it's interesting.
which I haven't been to the source of the Murray. You can get to the point where it is just a little trickle, but it's there used to be a 4-wheel drive track through there years and years ago, but it's in a national park and they've closed it.
Yep.
So now it's it's about a 20-kilometre walk.
So you're probably not up for that
from
at the moment.
a main road. So probably not up for
Just
that.
jog it,
Up in the
Dad.
mountains.
You could be in and out.
20
in a day.
kilometres on a flat would be fine, but up and down through the mountains.
Your
no.
knees wouldn't handle that.
No, neither would the feet. But, yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, but as you intimated early on, on the way home, we stopped at Lakes Entrance, which is about halfway home, and
This is East Gippsland, right?
sort of central Gippsland. They call it East Gippsland, but it's really central Gippsland, and it's the opening to the Gippsland Lakes, which is a big lake system that some of the major rivers that run off the high country, the mountains in Victoria, running south towards the coast, and they create this big freshwater, and estuarine lake system, and the entrance from those lakes that goes out to, well, it's an exit or an entrance depending on which way you're going,
Or which way the tide's
out to
going,
the
yeah.
sea, and that's an artificial opening. The natural opening was a bit further, about 3 or 4 kilometres east of where the current and now maintained opening is, but it was on a very shallow estuary and a fairly big dune system around it, so it closed off too often, and it was really hard to get large boats through.
So what, they
it was
just
shallow
opened it
water.
up?
So they made it, about 100 and something years ago, they made a new
really?
opening.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It was that long ago?
Yeah,
Oh,
they just
fair
made an opening and said, right, this is where it's going to be. And then the town sort of popped up around that Lakes Entrance. So we spent a night there in a caravan park. We weren't sort of wild camping or anything, but and went on a boat trip. I've never done a boat trip on the lakes before. I've been to Lakes Entrance a lot and always thought, it'd be good to do that, but had never done it before. So just went on like a 3-hour boat trip around the lakes and the commentary on, and it was actually very good. It was the commentary was a sort of combination of geography, history, sort of biology, the natural environment, as accompanied with a few sort of personal stories about the guy who was doing it, had been there all his life. And so it was very good. So it sort of suited everybody. I think if you're interested in just the biology, you got to know a bit about the lake system. You got to know about the forest around it and stuff. If you're interested in the history, they tell you about that. If you're interested in the physical geography of where the rivers came in and silting up and where the tide comes into and stuff, we sort of hit that too. So that was good.
Oh, cool. And then you had a fun
And
time
then
coming home.
fun time coming home. So that's normally about Lakes Entrance is probably 3.5 to 4 hours drive from Melbourne, but of course we're another hour and a half out of there. So we're originally going to just drive to Sorrento and catch the ferry across the opening of the bay, rather than go all the way around through Melbourne, which when we were going it would have hit around peak hour traffic anyway, and so that would have added an extra couple of hours to the drive. And we got about halfway back, a bit more than halfway back, and the storm hit, and it was a tornado style storm. It was very
intense.
rapid, intense winds, not the big whirly twister type tornado,
vortex,
but slightly bigger than that, but seriously strong winds. Only lasted about 10 minutes.
Well, to interject there, this is where I think I sent you guys that video, right? Where I went outside the house because it was a really hot day, wasn't it? So obviously, is that
it was
low
about
pressure
35 degrees.
or high pressure when it's hot?
High.
Maybe it's hot. Yeah, so high pressure when it's hot, and then the cold front was coming through, which
Yeah.
was the storm, and it was like it went from like 35, 36 degrees here to 20 all of a sudden within
Yeah.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was insane, and I remember the wind just going
And
absolutely
then, and
ballistic.
then after the wind, the rain.
Yeah. And it was just all within 5 minutes it had come and gone.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that was effectively those two pressure systems, the energy passing from one to the other, right?
Yeah.
In this
Right,
location.
Exactly.
And that was how much, there must have been such a differential for it to be that fierce.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen winds like that. I think they said that it gusted up to like 120 k's an hour.
It would have been more than that, I suspect,
Yeah,
because we driving along the South Gippsland Highway, and which is it's a major road, but it's only a 2-lane highway through a forested area, and trees, large branches were coming down, and a tree just fell across the road about 100 metres in front of us.
That must be horrifying if if it
well,
was ongoing. Right?
I know,
and you were driving along the road.
exactly. And we and so there was a truck in front of us and a car in front of that, and the tree literally fell a few metres in front of this car.
And this is a large eucalypt, right?
Yeah, it was a large eucalypt, and it fell completely, blocked the whole road.
Yeah,
and
there's no pushing it out of the way.
There was no pushing it out of the way. It would have been a serious effort to get rid of it. And we thought, well, we don't really want to just sit here in this storm. So we did a U-turn and chucked a Yui, and drove back to the nearest town, which is about 10 minutes drive normally, but it took us about 20 minutes because you're driving slowly, because by then the rain had hit, and the rain was so strong that you couldn't see more than 10 metres in front of you. Jeez. And you're constantly just dodging branches and things on the road and trying to look out for trees that might be going to fall. So you're just hoping that you made it. And we got back to the nearest town and just drove into the sort of main street there, which it is only one main street. Which doesn't have a lot of big trees on it. So so we just sat there and thought, we'll just sit here and wait the rain out.
Hopefully the roofs don't come off the buildings.
And that lasted about probably 40 minutes.
Really? Okay.
For the rain to dissipate.
So you guys really did, because we were chatting during this. You were, I think, messaging us saying, "Oh, we're probably not going to be home."
Yeah, who knows when we're going to be home?
Take care of the dogs and cats. Can you get Annie to my sister? And we were like, yeah. But it was over and past here within 20 minutes, and you guys obviously got the
probably
brunt of
lasted
it.
an hour.
Yeah,
where the wind only lasted about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but the rain was just horrific.
Yeah,
and so there was no point in it. We could have just sat there and waited it out, but it probably would have taken 2 or 3 hours to get the road cleared.
Yeah,
and I never looked up how long it did take, but we looked at it and went, well, there are other ways around, and so I worked out, quickly decided which way was the one that had the least forested areas to drive through, that was a lot less likely to have trees across the road.
Yeah.
So we drove north up to the main Princes Highway.
Good thinking, 99.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good, what was it, Get Smart reference?
Yes.
This is a TV show from the, 50s, 60s?
60s, yeah. And so, so we got home, but probably 3 hours later than we expected to.
Yeah, it was one of those like there were trees down near us, over the fences near the main road going up towards the roundabout on the way to yours, and just the neighbour's tree bloody snapped and half of that fell on my car. It was so funny blowing Noah's little mind when he saw me dragging it off the car and pushing it out of the way, because he was like, "Oh, Dad's got superhero powers. He's picked up a whole tree. He's moving a tree." I'm like, "Yeah, all in a day's work." Never skipped legs day. So yeah, that was a good trip though, all things considered. At least that hit at the end, right?
Yeah, it was great fun, and we didn't get any car damage. A couple of little scratches, I think, from branches hitting it, but there's no major damage on the car, fortunately. Yeah. When we were driving back to the little town, we did go past a place where a tree had fallen on the front of the car. Fortunately, it had fallen across the bonnet, not across the roof.
While people were in it?
While people were in it, driving on the road.
I thought you meant like it parked.
So at the point we got there, it had obviously just happened, because there was only probably 100 metres of traffic both sides that had been backed up, but there was no emergency vehicles, no ambulance or whatever, but it didn't appear that people were hurt. And there were already 3 or 4 vehicles with the people who had stopped and had got out and were helping. So there wasn't much point in the rest of us doing the same. It just would have been cars parked all over the place getting in the way. So we made our way around that. But that's the fear in those things of a tree just falling on the car.
Yeah, I think it's it's like being, what I would imagine, it's like being in war, right? Where you could get blown up or shot at any time. You just don't see it coming. And it's that kind of anxiety around it. Whereas like, if it's a bushfire or something else, you can at least kind of see the enemy
see
coming.
the danger and think you can control it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas, with something like just a tree falling on you whilst you're driving down a road, it's kind of like, well, what kind of reaction time are you going to need as well? Coming. Yeah. You'll see it coming whilst it's coming down and it's a few feet above you.
Exactly.
Right?
I've only ever actually seen a tree falling while I've been there and close to it once in the forest where we used to live up in Callista in the Dandenongs. Just walking through one of the tracks in the national park.
Was it during a storm or something, or was that just randomly?
No, just random. It had been very wet for a few weeks beforehand.
Okay, so the soil or something.
And the tree just fell.
Yeah.
Like 50 metres in front of me.
And
this is a tree that's 60 metres tall.
Yeah. It's some of the world's largest trees, right? Or tallest trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have made a noise.
Oh, yeah.
You wonder if it must be like getting struck by lightning in terms of probabilities, right? Like how few people would actually ever see a tree just spontaneously falling like that. Yeah, and getting to experience that, because that must be such a natural part of the environment, especially those forests, and because it like clears up heaps of space for new shoots and new plants to grow up and everything like that, creates all these homes for animals to live in. So it's an important process, but it must be so rare because these trees as well live for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you go and check it out after it fell down? You were just like, what the?
Oh yeah.
Like, get out of here!
I walked down and went
tap out.
Now turn
How
around
many others
and
are
go
in the
back.
same
What's the
situation?
next one? Yeah. Because of course when one tree falls over, not only is it knocking other things down, but it's also loosening. Well, the whole root thing comes up and it loosens it and destabilises the ground around other trees. So.
Yeah, it must have been so crazy back in the day, working as a lumberjack, right? Yeah. Taking down the largest trees in these old growth forests, whether in Australia or places like California, right, with the Californian
the redwoods. Yeah.
Redwoods. Like some of the photos are just fucking insane. With the size of the trunk would be like the width of my house, right? Yeah. And they've used a saw to go through, and it's probably taken them 3 or 4 days just to get to the point where they can wedge it up and then just let the tree fall down. And it just must have been such an insane thing to experience with something so large. And knowing too that it was just you and another man and some wood and metal that took the tree down, and those things are thousands of years old when they get that size. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that just ridiculous. But anyway, so you planning any other trips coming up soon with the van? And is it what you wanted? Is it what you expected from when you first got it?
Yeah, it is. And it took a long time thinking about how to design the inside of it.
That's part of the fun, though.
It is,
isn't it?
Yeah. It is, of course. Thinking about it, and then the building part. And working out what materials to build it out of, because I'm no carpenter, but the trouble with timber is easy to build in, but it's heavy, and so I ended up building all the internal stuff with aluminium framing.
And was this stuff you bought and then sort of put it all together, right?
Yeah. And you sort of you either buy the lengths you want or you buy a longer piece and cut it. But, cutting aluminium is easy, but it's actually difficult to get it without sharp corners.
Use a karate chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where's the next trip?
Apart from sort of day trips and a weekender here and there, we're going up to, up. It's always interesting how we use these terms. It's as much west as it is north, but we're going to the Adelaide Hills.
Okay.
Going to a bird photography conference in Harndorf, which is in the middle of the wine country up there.
That sounds like it was probably colonised by the Germans who migrated out here.
Exactly right. Including
a lot of them around South Australia,
including some of your relatives.
Yeah.
So so we're going up there for a few days before Easter.
Yeah.
And then just pottering around the coast on our way home for a few days. So rather than just drive straight home.
And how did it go off road? Did you take it off road and actually try any forward driving? No.
We've been on dirt tracks, but I haven't gone on any serious tracks yet.
Would you take it on some?
Yeah, but not mountain climbing like I used to do in the Land Cruiser and the Prado. We've still got the Prado, because it wasn't bought for that purpose, and it would be perfectly capable of doing it, but I don't want to wreck the vehicle.
Risk it.
I didn't buy it for four-wheel driving,
Yeah.
serious four-wheel driving. I wanted a vehicle with four-wheel drive, so that if you end up in mud or sand or whatever, you're not going to get trapped.
Yeah.
It wasn't bought to go up and doing the Victorian high country, the serious tracks up there. Happy to do some of the lesser ones, and river crossings and things are really what I want to be able to do rather than climbing cliffs.
Yeah, I guess it's just about having less restrictions, right? Than if you took out a Commodore wagon or something.
Yeah, and it's more just for security as well. That you can go, this is a long dirt road. I got no idea what the condition's going to be like. I wouldn't take a two-wheel drive down it. I'll take a four-wheel drive down it. The other thing too is that four-wheel drives handle corrugations and rough roads a lot better.
Yeah,
because the suspension and the chassis and the frame and things are built to handle it, whereas your average two-wheel drive is made to be driven on tarmac.
Just shakes itself apart.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. Well, glad to be back, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. We're going to smash out a few today, hopefully.
Yeah,
so,
rack up a few weeks.
See what's going to come down the pipe. See ya.
Bye.
That sounded like a fart. He's on the leather chair.
I'm on the leather chair. That wasn't.
Never trust a fart, Dad.
It wasn't a parting gesture.